Here we have the negative exponent rule, a rule that's going to help us dealing with exponents and simplifying them. So the rule for exponents is we can't really ever have a negative exponent. So the way that we can represent a negative exponent is basically anything attached to a negative exponent gets thrown into the denominator. Just like this is x to the power of negative a over 1, I'm basically kind of just flipping it to the denominator, and the top then just stays as 1 over x to the power of a. So for this first one, x to the power of negative 6, I'm taking that because it is attached to a negative exponent, making a positive exponent, and flipping it to the denominator. Same idea here. X to the power of negative 3 is 1 over x to the power of 3. In this case here, 2x to the power of negative 3, only the x is attached to a negative exponent. So that is what goes in the denominator. The 2 stays in the numerator here. So this becomes x to the power of 3. Then this one here is a little bit different because I have to kind of distribute this exponent in for each of these. So it becomes 4 to the power of negative 3 times x to the power of negative 3. Now, in this case here, since they're both negative, they're both going to be thrown into the denominator. So it becomes 1 over 4 to the power of 3, x to the power of 3. And anytime we have an actual number here that has an exponent, we can kind of simplify that by actually doing 4 times 4 times 4. So our final answer for this one should be 1 over 64 x to the power of 3. Now, 2 over x to the power of negative 4. Here's a tricky one because we have a negative in the denominator. Now, if it's in the numerator, in the example here, it flips to the denominator. When it's in the denominator, well, now it's going to flip into the numerator. So what that becomes is 2x to the power of 4. So anywhere that it's at, if it's in the numerator, it's going to the denominator. If it's in the denominator, it's going to the numerator, only if it has a negative exponent. So if we move on to the next one here, we only have one that has a negative exponent. So that is what goes to the denominator. The y to the power of 8 stays on the top. The x to the power of 6 goes to the bottom. And there we go. Then this one here, only one of them has a negative exponent. 2y squared stays on the top. X to the power of 3 goes to the bottom. And lastly here, I have two of them that end up having a negative exponent. So x to the power of 5 stays up here. 4 to the power of 2 and y to the power of 3 go to the bottom. And then anytime that we have a number raised to an exponent, we can actually figure out what that's equal to, which gives us our final answer of x to the power of 5 over 16y cubed. And that is our practice problems for the negative exponent rule to help us with our exponents.